𝘾𝙝𝙖𝙩 𝙂𝙋𝙏, and today we are here with a session on Chat GPT. We started this yesterday. I'm really sorry for the inconvenience caused yesterday because of some software and technical issues. Now let's start with today's session. It's really important session, and I will give you a few tools and tips which I believe you would be able to understand how we can use Chat GPT, especially for systematic literature review process, because I know most of us, we are really learning about these Chat GPT and AI technologies everywhere these days. So I'll not be focusing on the common points which you can cover from other videos as well, but here we'll be talking about a specific use of this kind of technology with systematic literature review process. So that would be the extension of our systematic literature review process and the series on writing the systematic literature review. So let's start without further ado. The previous session we started with these 4 outcomes. We will be talking about the general SLR process, and the most important thing is systematic literature review process is not being changed with this Chat GPT, and nor any AI technology can write a complete systematic literature review research article for you. If somebody is telling you this, believe me, I tried every possible method and I come to this conclusion: it is not possible without human intervention and our own understanding and the way we do work. So I'll be focusing on the systematic literature review process again, and just to refresh how do we do a systematic literature review process, and then we'll be working on how we can use Chat GPT. Especially I'll be discussing very quick intro of Chat GPT, and then we'll be talking about how we can use that Chat GPT for SLR process and where we can actually use this technology. It's not just similar way we can ask ChatGPT and with the magic it will give you a complete research article. So if this is the case, believe me, not many research journals are interested in this, and even it is not good for your own intellectual ability. So you need to write, you need to think, but you can get some assistance from ChatGPT, and that assistance is huge. Enormous assistance can be generated with this Chat GPT. So I will tell you how we can use that. This is from my understanding. And then a very important and emerging field which is called prompt engineering. So those who are aware of this prompt, it is a way of interaction between machine and human. So we give them command, and in return they give us some useful information or whatever we need. But the thing is, in Chat GPT, we will be using the same mechanism or method which we were using in systematic literature review. And believe me, I tried all those mechanisms and all those commands and prompts. They are working very well. But the thing is, in Chat GPT, you need to specify for which area you are working. For example, if you are working for research question, if you are working for methodology part, if you are working for comparison of results. So all these are different prompts, and I'm writing a list of prompts which can be useful for systematic literature review process, and that I will help for writing systematic literature review. So I'm in the process of completing that. But if you want to learn more about the prompt engineering, you can buy few prompts from online because the prompt market is already available. So you can buy some good prompts and use them in your research, and that will give you very good feedback. But here I'll be talking about these prompts and the differences between these different prompts, so you can learn and then you can try with your own research, and we can learn furthermore how we can develop prompt that are best use case for us. But remember, Chat GPT not gonna do anything with your systematic literature review process. So we'll follow the same process, which is basically we discussed this many times. I'll go through this quickly. So first you need to develop a research question. Yes, Chat GPT or any AI technologies can help you to refine your research question, and that is where I have already in the previous video, I have discussed the method through which you can conceptualize, or you can use these AI technologies, for example, Elicit, for writing very good research questions, refining them, and using more creative ideas in order to develop a very useful research question. Okay, so that's the first thing which we do in Chat GPT. We can help, or we can use that Chat GPT in order to help us in writing very good research question and good conceptualization of our results. Okay, or so our systematic literature review. Search strategy will always remain same. We'll be using same databases because Chat GPT is not a database. If somebody is using Chat GPT for database and they are just trying to extract the records from Chat GPT and just concentrating on them, believe me, it will not give you accurate result, because it have access to the open access sources only, and the many research article and many databases, Chat GPT can never access those databases. In that case, you are missing a good, or maybe I can say most important part of your literature review and the sources. And in that case, the review you are doing is not systematic. It is just a narrative literature review or any other form of the literature review, but it is not systematic literature review, because we are missing good part or very important part of the literature by doing this. So we are just using Chat GPT for generating output. So that's not the case. We will be learning how we can use that. Then data extraction is simple, but this is where we can use Chat GPT in order to read our data from the Excel sheet, and we try to learn how we can use that database from different databases, for example, Scopus or Web of Sciences, and how we can use Chat GPT to read that data and create different outputs for us. That's possible, but that is another phase of your research. So we'll be following the same pattern or same cycle. Okay, and then we need to use synthesizer analysis. This is where I'll be focusing more in today's session. How we can use Chat GPT in order to synthesize, analyze, combine, compare, or summarize the result or the findings of the previous research article. So that's where we'll be working today mostly, because the Chat GPT is it's a whole new thing, and there are many options, many different capabilities are available within the Chat GPT, and enormous opportunities are available, and the loads of function which Chat GPT can assist us. So in that case, I can't cover everything in one video, so I focused only on synthesize, comparison, and reading from different article, and how we can generate output which we can use in our systematic literature review, especially in this step 4, synthesize or analyze the results. So that would be part of today's session. Obviously, in forthcoming session, I will cover all these different parts, and I'll try to give you different prompts which you can use in the different stages of your systematic literature review process, through which you can do your work quickly and easily. Okay, so that's the final part where we try to report our results in order to develop a complete research article. Okay, so all these different sections, and in each section you can use Chat GPT with a different approach. Okay, so that's why loads of opportunities are there. Now, coming back to Chat GPT, there are a few things which we need to understand. What are the journal's policy? What is the journal policy for the content which is generated from Chat GPT? Few journals and few big publishers, they have already announced their policies. They don't want to see content generated from the Chat GPT. They want your original content. But yes, you can take your help from Chat GPT in order to understand, or in order to generate ideas. So they don't have any objection on this, until and unless your content is not directly exported from Chat GPT. Okay, so this is another avenue where I will be hopefully I'll be doing one video where I will tell you how you can use Chat GPT to write, and without copying and paste and all this. So we can take help from Chat GPT, and we can replace many of those grammatical correction software which we are using in the paid form. So ChatGPT can help us in our correction and in our writing, and in many other ways that I'll leave it to the any other upcoming videos. But I know this is the concern from many people. And secondly, it has not been decided yet who is the owner of the content which has been generated from ChatGPT, because you are the one who is inputting the prompt, but I'm not sure whether this content is your ownership, or it is ChatGPT, or the ownership of the manufacturers or developers of the ChatGPT. So let's see how these policies are emerging in future, and then we can refine our practices in research. But for now, I believe it's really awesome tool in order to write systematic literature reviews more quickly. So the work which we were doing manually, for example, comparison, analysis, reading complete paper, that this Chat GPT can do without any hesitation and within seconds for us, and that will help us in order to do our quick systematic literature review. So let's move on with the Chat GPT function. So this is where we were in the last section, in the last video. So we tried to use Chat GPT. Let me just demonstrate the interface of the Chat GPT, a very quick one, because many I believe mostly people, they are aware of this Chat GPT interface, but I'm just trying to take a screenshot for you, and so we can okay. So this is ChatGPT's interface. So let me start with the new chat so we can understand the ChatGPT function. Now we have this version which is freely available is ChatGPT 3 or 3.2 or 3.5 version maximum freely available. But now ChatGPT 4 has been released, and that have ability to interact with live internet, and then we can work with that and use ChatGPT for mining data or reading data directly from the website. So that option is available only in ChatGPT 4, but that is not freely available. But we have other alternatives available to do the same job. So I will tell you how we can use the ChatGPT 4 function without paying anything, but we can extract data from live website or complete research articles. Okay, so this is you can see this is the interface, and in this interface you can see this one where you can type your command. This is called prompt area, where you will be actually working with the Chat GPT most of the time. Okay, so this is where you will ask ChatGPT to do your work or to develop any idea. For example, let me just take you through one example. I'm trying to write develop some ideas on writing a systematic literature review on supply chains, for example. Let me I'm using the same concept, blockchains in supply chain management. So I just asked ChatGPT to develop some ideas. So overall, it gives me a few ideas. I can try to understand. This is for conceptualization stage, and this part I believe we have already covered in the previous videos. I'm just giving you a flavor of ChatGPT, what it have to offer to all the researchers. So we can ask to generate ideas, but these ideas, obviously they are very initial stages of your research, and then you can refine. But when you took any idea, the same process you need to do. You need to go with any databases, you need to define the keywords, you need to define protocols or strategies. Yes, we can ask ChatGPT to develop some keywords for us, which are very much useful. Obviously we can ask ChatGPT to develop some keywords which we can use in our search related. But again, we need to work on that area, and we need to develop or identify these keywords very carefully. But for developing these keywords, I believe the 𝙭is a very good software, which I have already explained in the previous video. So you can use that software, or Scholars is another good software where we can ask help for generating different ideas and the different keywords which we can use. So this is a very simple interface. Please, if you have any question, write it in the chat box. I will try to complete my session within 45 minutes, and after this I will be taking your question for 15 minutes, and then we can sum up our today's session. So this is first thing which we can ask ChatGPT to do. Now the command which I wrote is called a prompt. Okay, so this prompt is basically develop. So develop, it means that the system automatically understands that it needs to develop some ideas, and then it will give you a detailed idea. If I ask system to write a few different types of the literature review topics on blockchain and supply chain management, the outcome would be little bit different. So let me copy and paste the same prompt, but this time just to play with this. So now I change this prompt, and now it is giving me just the ideas and not the details of what should be included within that. If you check on the previous one, it gives me complete detail and with some suggestions as well. So it is more comprehensive. It is developing a complete idea from starting till the content of the research article. But here it just gives me a rough idea and the title for this. And if I ask the ChatGPT just to give me the titles of research article, it will just give you the title. So it will respond to your prompt the way you ask it to do. Okay, so in that case, the most important thing is when you are working with the ChatGPT or any AI technology, the prompts are very much important. And that's why there is another term, emerging term, which is called prompt engineering, where we learn how to use this ChatGPT and different prompts. So I'm creating a Word document for all of you, where we'll be working on different prompts in the different areas of systematic literature review process. So we can use those prompts because of all of us, we are working in the same way. So these prompts are useful for all those who are working with the systematic literature review. But this is ongoing project, so I'll be keep you updated with this. So let's move on to the first part, second part. The first part was just an introduction of ChatGPT. I believe all of us, we already know this ChatGPT very well because we are working with it since a few months now. So we have this, understanding of the ChatGPT. But let's see how we can take this ChatGPT in order to develop three important things. The first is the summary of the findings or summary of anything. Second, writing abstracts of findings or abstract of your research article whatsoever. But I'm using this case for synthesize the literature, which is the fourth step of our systematic literature review, where we so let me just take you through the systematic literature review process again and again. So this time, so we have developed the idea, we have extracted the data from different sources, and now we have a few research articles with us, which are basically covering a stream of research, a specific classification of the research, and we want to synthesize the findings of all those research articles. This is the critical issue which I am trying to discuss today with the help of ChatGPT. So what I am trying to do is, we are talking about one theme or one cluster of the research articles, and I'm trying to use this ChatGPT in order to summarize the finding and then comparison between 2 or 3 research articles, or maybe trying to identify the differences between 2 or 3 research articles, or maybe you can use it for more research articles. But for this illustration purpose only, I'm using 2 research articles, and I'm taking the comparative analysis and using different prompts to understand how we can develop the summary, abstract, and the comparative analysis from the ChatGPT. Okay, and once we are done with the ChatGPT, I will take you to the ChatGPT 4, where we'll be learning how we can directly extract data from the websites or from the research article, and then we can use and compare with the same prompts. Okay, so let's move on. So with this, I have downloaded a few research articles which are basically on the blockchains and supply chain management. So you can use the same concept. You can download research articles which may be part of one theme or one cluster of your systematic literature review, and you want to combine the result, analyze the result, and you want to compare the result between these different research articles quickly. So let's move on. So this is a research article which I'm trying to understand the findings. So I don't want to read this complete research article, because obviously it's a very useful research article and have a lot of information for us. But as you know, in systematic literature, we might have many different research articles, and we have limited time, so we can just quickly go to the results and try to analyze the results in our way. Okay, so I'm trying to copy this one, the results area. I think this also included in the results table. Okay, so I just copied this one, and my prompt is create usually I'm using inverted commas between to differentiate the content I'm pasting in the prompt or the content I'm writing in the command. So if you're in the prompt, so you can use any different method, but I believe this method is useful, and I can just it's working fine for me. So you can use inverted commas, because the same concept we are using in the Scopus and Web of Science database when we're trying to give it a command. So same approach I'm using with the ChatGPT, and it works very well for me for now, and I will show you what differences it can create for you while you are giving instruction to your AI tool. Okay, so it needs to understand that what you have written and what exactly you are from which content you are trying to initiate that prompt, or you're trying to use that content if you have that. Okay, so let's see what is the result. Now this is the result of the finding, very simple and clear result, and now we can understand from that complete discussion the system or the ChatGPT have already given us a content or the summary of the finding. Now remember, the way ChatGPT works, it can read and it can understand your previous commands as well. So we don't need to repeat the content or copy paste the content again and again. So we can just ask, create an abstract from the findings. So now the Chat GPT will give you abstract of the study. Okay, so that's just the two different commands which or prompts which we use. The first one is to summarize the result, and second one is to create an abstract. Okay, now this is the same approach you can use for all those studies, and just ask system to create an abstract or summary of the finding, and then you can use this summary in your research. Okay, now remember the content, it's still debatable, but because we created a summary from the content we provided, in the most cases it would not be included in the AI developed content. Okay, so AI developed content is that type of content which is exactly generated by the Chat GPT or any AI technology. Not you are the one who is giving us instructions for reading and then extracting, but still this is the case of debate, and we don't know exactly what journals would love to see, but still if this is the case, you can just paraphrase it or just rewrite it in simple way, because our task is being done. The summary is already here, the abstract is already here. Now we can understand the content of that research, so we don't need to read the whole research article for writing in our systematic literature review. So we can just quickly create that summary. But again, please don't forget to cite that paper where you have generated this summary of the results. Okay, so this is the first prompt where we can use Chat GPT in order to summarize the result. Now, another very interesting and very useful technique which I use for many research articles. Now we need to compare the results between two different research articles. So that's where limitations comes in. Chat GPT is unable to write or unable to handle a large content, because that's the limitation for Chat GPT 3. If you are using Chat GPT 4, obviously the content you can ask Chat GPT to read is very huge, so you can use a whole research article. But here I need to understand I have this limitation where I'm not able to give it instruction to read 2, 3, 4 research articles and then give me the result. But that thing I tried to use these prompts, and I found a way through which I can still use Chat GPT 3, but I can compare 2 or 3 research articles. So let's try. I'm also trying this. Maybe results are not very much accurate, but still it can work. For example, this one, we already have this research article with us, the first one, and we have the content. Okay, so I copied the results again. Remember, I'm just copying the results of article A and article B, and I'm trying to compare the results of article A and article B, whatever their results are. Let's see how Chat GPT work for that. Okay, so here the magic is we need to use a prompt. Okay, so that prompt is read the findings and write done when finish. Okay, now what I did, I asked system to read these findings. Remember, this word done is actually I need output 1. The system will read this content, it should tell me okay, it is done. But in my opinion, this command will not work accurately because we have not given instruction very clearly. Again, I will tell you in a while. Just let me complete or execute this prompt. So once it is done, we'll see what are the results, and then we move on with the main command which I want to tell you. Okay, so I asked system to read and just type done when it is done. Okay, but you can see that the system already said done, but at the same time it wrote a lot of summary or different information. So I don't need that information. I want Chat GPT to just write done. Okay, so in my understanding, I can write or execute the same command again, but let me just copy the previous content. Okay, now this time when I say done, I can use inverted comma and see how system respond to this command. Now what I did, I just specified that particular job which this Chat GPT needs to be done. Now you can see the system have read all the content and then just reported me done. Okay, so this is the content which is saved in Chat GPT's memory now. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to give Chat GPT different findings and ask it to read. So once everything is done, then we'll execute another command. Okay, so to this time I'll bring this one. Is this the same article? Okay, let me check on this. Okay. Okay, this is another research article, the second one. So again, I'll copy the findings and paste here with inverted comma, and I'll give Chat GPT same command, read these findings and okay, so you can see I wrote this prompt. So read these findings and write done when finished. So again, I wrote this done in inverted comma so system can understand what exactly I need from this command. So you can see the system already read the information and replied to me done. Now this is where we have saved our finding into the memory of the system. Okay, now what I am doing is I am just copying and pasting the data from PDF file, and you can see a lot of irrelevant information is already within that content. I am not refining the content. I am just copying and paste and allowed Chat GPT to learn what exactly it is and create the meaning. Then I believe the Chat GPT have done considerable good work or amazing job in responding to these queries, because it is not giving us information on these irrelevant content. So it is just giving us the information on the finding. That is really, really amazing, and it means that it saves tons of our time. We don't need to refine the content and then bring it into the prompt, so we can quickly do that. Now what I have already done is there are two different commands which have been implemented, the prompt, and now two different findings are already being submitted to the system or Chat GPT. Now I can write anything I want, okay, because now these two memories. So we can just ask Chat GPT, write of the you just read. Okay, so I'm trying to write a comparison between the studies. Let's see how it works. I believe it's really amazing. You can see the two findings that I just read are not directly comparable, as they are discussing different topics. Okay, so the topics are different. So it means that the system understands all the findings very clearly, and it can tell us whether your findings are related or not. But still, it will give me some data. It will give me finding of 1 and finding of 2, and I can explain based on these findings. But most of the time, obviously, this is where I told you, when we are writing within one theme, we mostly have the article which have similar concepts and similar areas of being studied, and then we can use this technique to analyze or compare the results of different studies that we were doing, through developing different tables and charts that we can do again. If I want to create a table, so I can ask ChatGPT, create a table from the both findings that contains Let's see how ChatGPT is creating this table. Now you can see that from this I have created one table which tells me about the major findings and the methods were used to analyze the data. So that's amazing tool. We had that limitation. We can't use more than maybe 1,000 or 2,000 words, but that limitation we can overcome results. So now what we do understand, we can compare the results, finding of the different studies. Now we can develop different tables from those different studies which we have just asked ChatGPT to read. So in that case, this is a really useful prompt. So read, and then we can move on to the next step where we can ask ChatGPT to develop different contents. Okay, so this is for ChatGPT. I believe I will just conclude this ChatGPT session here with this two different prompts. We can compare. We can ask ChatGPT to read different findings and then summarize and then compare whatever you want. That's your choice. And now you can work within your literature review. But this is really useful when you are working within the themes and within the generating clusters or classifications of your research, or synthesize all the research available. Okay, if you are working with the introduction part, if you are working with the conceptualization part, you need another approach which I have already explained, and I will try to give you a few commands and prompts for that as well, where you can use those prompts, and that will be really helpful for you to analyze the literature review and all this. Okay, so this is all for ChatGPT. Now, another limitation which I promised to you with when I started this session, we have another tool which use ChatGPT-4 for free, and we can use that tool and we can try to extract the data directly from the website. But that tool, you need to do some adjustments, which I'm going to show you. So this is Edge, Microsoft Edge. So if you click on the Microsoft Edge browser, for currently I'm using Chrome. So the Chrome is we can use Chrome for ChatGPT and all this, but Edge, Microsoft has its own different method or different tools which we can use, and it use ChatGPT 4, which is Bing. Okay, so if you click here, and this is the tab which allow you to use anything on ChatGPT 4. I'll give you one example as well, but you need to do some adjustment before we move on. Okay, so this Bing is using ChatGPT 4 version and it is free. So it means that you can analyze unlimited data in the same way you are using Chat GPT 4. Obviously, Chat GPT is really an amazing tool, and we heard about it many times. That's why these new tools, which are equally useful, they are might not getting that spotlight. So that's why we need to learn about them as well, because they are really useful, especially in terms of our research. They are really useful. Okay, now let's move on. Let me just take one research article from here. Let's just go back to the Scopus search. Again, I'm just trying to search on the Scopus, and from the Scopus I'll bring one research article. This is the research article we use in the previous research. So let's just check on this. Let me close this one first. So I'm trying to find out this research article. This is, I believe this is, yeah, this is a research article. Okay, and it is an open access research article, so that's why you have all the information available. Okay, so mostly when you have access to any research article, you will find their HTML version as well. So everything is already here. So I'll just click on the Bing. Now Bing is already set, and you can ask a few questions directly from this box to enable your. Okay, so you can see here the system is ready now. It asks me what do you want, if you want to ask anything. Okay, but before accessing these online platforms, you need to do some adjustment in your Bing account. Okay, so click here, the three dots, please carefully click here, and then you need to go for the notification and app setting. Okay, click on these three dots, then go to notification and app settings, and in the app setting you need to allow them to page content. Usually this function is off. In that case, you would not be able to access the live content from any website or any research articles. Okay, so you need to enable this option in order to access provide Bing access to all the content which we are talking about. Okay, so this is all for Bing. Now let's start. Now we can just ask directly. So I'm just asking Bing to provide me summary of the research article. So let's see how it responds. Okay, now you can see that it's creating summary for me, summary of the research article. Now you can select any specific content and ask system to provide you summary. So the same way we were working with the Chat GPT, you can work with Bing. Bing is more powerful option because it is using Chat GPT 4 interface, and it can give you all this information, and most importantly, it can directly read from the website or from the content directly. So you don't need to copy paste. You can just go to the website and just write your command and extract the information and use it in your research article. So that's really amazing. In addition to this, it can also give you all the information and some already available prompts as well. So you can ask these questions if you are interested in these, if you are interested in the type of question which it automatically provides you. But with this you can learn more efficiently with the Bing. So the Bing is really powerful using Chat GPT 4. It's free, but while you are using Chat GPT option for the OpenAI, you need to pay for Chat GPT 4. So it means that we have other options as well. Now this Bing option works in the same way the Chat GPT works, because it is also a language model, machine learning model, where it uses the content available and try to make a sense from the content and give response to your queries. So really amazing tool, and it is really useful, but it is less used, so it means that it has more opportunities for us to learn, and we can train it based on our own understanding. So in the same way, we can use Bing also. We can ask Bing to read all this article in the same way we were asking to Chat GPT. So all functions are available there. But we'll have another session on the Bing in any further coming live sessions. But for now, I believe this is the conclusion for today's session. My time is already over now. It's 50 minutes. I was I promise you to take few questions before we conclude this session. But before going to the question answer session, let me just conclude this session, the learning for today. We try to use Chat GPT, but the important message was this: Chat GPT will not change the way you do your systematic literature review. You will follow the same process, but you can use Chat GPT in different ways in order to assist you in your literature review or systematic literature review analysis, finding, or even the generating the ideas. Okay, who is the owner of the content which have been generated from AI? It is a still debatable question, and there are no guidelines are being provided by the owners or by the journals or wherever we are using that content. So we need to wait for those policies to be implemented, and then we will follow those policies and we'll try to realign our way of doing research. For now, few journals like Nature, Elsewhere, they have already announced their policy on Chat GPT or any AI tool. They are not willing to take the content directly copied and paste from AI generated tools. So in that case, we need to work on those tools very carefully. Okay, but still they are so powerful. They can help us in many other areas, many other ways. We can improve our writing from them. It is not being considered as AI generated content if we use them to improve our writing style. So that's possible. There are many other areas where we can ask ChatGPT and other tools to help us. Okay, so today we learned 2 or 3 different prompts are very important. The way you interact with this technology is really important. You need to learn a few prompts, and you need to learn by doing. And I'll also try to develop a few prompts for you which are really useful for systematic literature review, and I'll try to share it with you in upcoming videos, so you can get maximum out of these technologies and make your work more easier and quick. So we learn about the summarizing result. We learn how this Chat GPT can read more than one inputs and then generate outputs based on those read material or data. So this is what we have learned. And then I gave you one important tool, which is Bing. Bing is using Chat GPT 4, and it can directly link with your website, and it means that it opens a whole new a bunch of opportunities, and that I will explain in upcoming videos working with the Bing. But today's session was just to give you an introduction of Chat GPT 4 and how it works, and link directly with your browser. So you can set up those changes which I told you in your browser, Edge browser, and it is available for you, and you can still use Chat GPT 4 for free. Okay, so this is all for today's session. Now I'm moving to the question answer session, and if you have any question, please write in the chat box, and I'll try to answer your question. Okay. Okay, some of those who have never done a systematic literature review, what advice you avail onto us to supercharge our understanding of systematic literature reviews? For this, I have a very simple answer. We have a series of videos where I have explained how to do systematic literature review quickly. Okay, and I have already given you a few tools which are really useful in order to write systematic literature review tools. So if you can watch those videos, very simple videos, and that will help you to understand how you can write systematic literature reviews and then use this Chat GPT in order to make your work more quickly. So obviously Chat GPT can help you, but you need to learn systematic literature review process before using it for systematic literature review. So I have a bunch of videos available and a complete playlist for systematic literature review. Please watch them. A detailed process, step by step, everything is available on those videos, and you can learn from that videos very clearly. Okay. Okay, so your supervisor asked to use ChatGPT. Yes, even I'm asking my student to use ChatGPT. If you need the supervisor name, I'm one of them who asked my student to use ChatGPT. But I've already explained the ethical concern linked with this ChatGPT, because for me, ChatGPT is unable to do your systematic literature review process. And secondly, with working with ChatGPT for a few months, I learned that all these AI-based techniques, they are using chunks of information from different sources. It means that this is not plagiarism free. First thing you should understand, even if it is not AI detected, it is detected by different software. So once you extract anything from ChatGPT, if you check it on Turnitin, you will find some sort of plagiarism already available there, because it is using from different sources. One thing. Second thing, in my opinion, this is my personal opinion, it is giving you a predefined structures of sentence which might be different than a normal writing style. Okay, so we can identify by reading those that this is being generated by the AI or not with the experience. So I'm not very much afraid of this Chat GPT. I know if my students are using it for the good, yes, it is a really powerful tool, and that's why I'm teaching you this. Okay, so you can use it, but you need to learn how you can use it efficiently and without having any ethical consideration. Okay, thank you. Okay, if we use ChatGPT, there is a new option in Turnitin to detect AI. Will it make any problem in publication? I explained very clearly, the journal, they do not want your AI-based content. Okay, so they want you to write. In that case, you need to break that plagiarism. If you want to use ChatGPT, there are a few techniques through which you can just change a little bit of your content and it would not be detected under the AI tool. But these AI tools which detects the AI content, they are at very infancy stage. In UK, all around the UK, no university is using these AI detection tools because we are not sure about the 100% accuracy of these tools. Okay, those which are detecting AI content. Sometime it detects accurately and sometime it do not. Okay, because it follow the sentence structure, and if you learn the algorithm for those, you can easily rework with your content, and your content would not appear as the AI developed content. So don't worry about that part, you can use that. But my opinion still is this: don't use these AI tools and techniques for writing whole thesis or whole books or whole research article. It's not useful because the journal will detect it and they will not publish your work. Okay, so some sort of involvement of AI is okay, because if we want to improve our writing, if we want to change the sense of the sentences based on the accurate grammar and all this, yes, we can use it, but overuse for that might not be valuable for you. So use it carefully. Okay, how to ensure that the data produced by the Chat GPT is authentic? This is a really good question, and in yesterday's session, which was unfortunately due to some technical reason was not completed, I explained it very clearly. Chat GPT have many limitations, and even not Chat GPT, all these AI tools, they have limitation. the information generated from this chat GPT, we can never rely on that, especially when it comes to the referencing part. They generate reference by themselves. It is not accurate references. So when you ask chat GPT to develop some in-text citation or write the references, it will give you some results, but please, before moving on, verify those references very carefully, being a researcher, because when I verified, most of them were fake. Okay, they were developed by AI. This is for referencing the information. In most cases, for example, if we are talking about something which is not so much popular and not a lot of data is available on the internet, so be careful. Chat GPT or any AI tool can give you false information. So it is your responsibility to verify the information generated by the Chat GPT or any AI tool, it is accurate or not. Okay, and it is a clear statement from elsewhere. You are the responsible for submitting any research article or any information generated. Okay, so in that case, yes, in some areas Chat GPT or AI technology can do very well, but in some areas it have some limitation, and with the passage of time, when these model, they will learn more, they will become more accurate. But for now, yes, there is a part of the problem with the authentication of the information. So you need to be careful, and you need to use all this information after verification from different sources. Okay, so generated fake citation, how to handle that? Chat GPT 4 will not generate false citation. Okay, so this is one thing. The second option is there is another tool, we call it 𝙤𝙂 AI. Okay, and that is purely for researcher. I will give one demonstration on this in future. So 𝙤𝙂 AI will generate accurate citations for you. So if you want to generate citations or references from AI tools, don't use Chat GPT. 𝙤𝙂 AI is another very powerful tool which can help you in this part. Okay. How Chat GPT collect and conclude data in the literature review? Very short. Secondly, think researcher future is very much limited pay because of it. Okay, for me, Chat GPT, there are two questions. First is Chat GPT, how we can use AI tools to collect data quickly. AI tools have already collected all this data because the data is already available on their databases. But when I'm working as a scholar, writing research articles, writing systematic literature review, I would not ask any AI tools to collect data for me. I will do it with the help of 𝙭𝙗𝙗 guidelines, which we have explained in tons of the videos in the previous sessions. So we need to use those protocols. They are still valid, even though AI can help us, assist us, but it is not reliable to use AI for collecting your data, collecting the information for the research articles. And for the, obviously for research, if you are working with the primary data, you need to use those sources which actually develop that data, mean the respondent or any experimental design. So that you need to do by yourself. Don't use Chat GPT or any tool. If you are using secondary data, the Chat GPT will also, or any AI tool will also access that data from a secondary source or secondary website. So I believe it is better to use that website directly. For example, WDI, Word Development Indicators, and all these types of the databases where you can find all the secondary data which we use in our research. So primary data, obviously it is a fresh and data, you need to collect it through reliable sources or respondents or experiment. But if you are using secondary data, you can use directly those sources which Chat GPT or any AI tool is using. I believe if you are using everything on Chat GPT, that will not be value addition in your research, because it has so many limitations for now. So this is my take on this question. Okay, so watching. Okay, meta-analysis. Many of these tools are not available to Pakistani students when access to Scopus 2. Okay, so if you don't have access to Scopus, I do understand that limitation in Pakistan, not only in Pakistan, in many other countries they have this limitation. For that, I already have uploaded a few videos in the past. The one is using publish or perish software, which can allow you to use those databases without not those databases, but still you can extract the data from different sources using publish or perish software, or you can use 𝘾𝙗𝙖𝙩. 𝘾𝙗𝙗 is also a very good powerful tool to collect that information and extract into any bibliographic software. This is also important. And the third thing, which is really important, if you don't have access to these databases, please try to collaborate international scholars who have access to these databases. They can be really helpful for you, and your network is also will be growing. So don't hesitate to write any expert in your field or any person who is working in the field from the different countries. I believe, and this is my perception, I believe nobody will say no to you. They will try to help you as much as they can. Okay, so try to use these methods. You can use different tools, for example, publish or perish or any other method. 𝘾𝙗𝙗, I have already have those videos where I taught you on working with these tools. But still, if you are not comfortable with that, please go ahead and try to extend your research network. Nobody will say no to you. They will help you, and through which you can overcome this limitation. I know that Scopus and all these databases are really expensive, and it is also difficult to find the data. So in that case, I would request you to work with these options. Some videos are available, but I would recommend you to work with other scholars and researchers, through which you can extend your network, and also you can get your help from those. Okay, so elaborate more about the ethical consideration when using Chat GPT. Chat GPT, a lot of discussion is ongoing. I'm not sure. Every scholar, every researcher, they have their own opinions. Okay, when this technology emerged, first of all, everybody was really shocked, but this was not the technology we are using now. They make it open, that's why everybody is concerned. But I was using this technology with the name of digital OpenAI Playground. I was also using the same technology with Grammarly, 𝘾𝙗𝙗. All these were different tools where we were already using this technology, and with the ethical consideration as well. Now, with this emergence of Chat GPT, which allow us to develop large chunk of the content, it's really worrying for those who are talking about the scholarship or intellectual ability. So in my opinion, if a whole content is not being copied, it's still okay to use these technologies, because it's help you, and it can increase your creativity, and it can decrease the way and the amount of time you amount of time you employ to do your work. So it's really amazing. Use it. But obviously, as a scholar, we all know technically what is right or what is wrong. If you copy something directly from Chat GPT and you ask me to give you authentication, no, this is not the case. You need to use your own ideas. You need to develop your work. You need to take the help of these technologies in order to refine your work, not fully generate your work. So that's my understanding about the ethical consideration in a very simple way. Okay, so this is not relevant question, but still, can you explain conceptual or theoretical framework? Okay, so there is a debate on the conceptual and theoretical framework. As I said, although this is not part of the today's session, but still I would love to respond to this question. Theoretical frameworks are technically being developed based on the theories already available in the literature. So that's why we call them theoretical framework, because it are being base or extension or corroboration of some existing theoretical developments or theories. Okay, so that's why it is called a theoretical framework, under which theory you are working or under what type of theoretical framework you are working. Okay, so that gives you limitations, scope, inclusion and exclusion of your research. Okay, in the same way, conceptual framework is the understanding about the ideas, the concepts, the variables included in your research. Okay, so usually we draw this conceptual framework graphically in order to show that these are the scope of our research. This is included, this is excluded. For example, if I'm talking about the performance, so there are firm performance. For example, the firm performance have thousands of the scales and thousands of the different items to measure this. For example, financial performance, non-financial performance, customer satisfaction, growth. There are many different ways of measuring that. How are you going to use that concept or the construct in your research is your conceptual framework, the way you are going to explain that. And this conceptual framework, usually they are linked with your operational definitions. Okay, when I ask any of my students, those who work with me, they are very much clear on that. First thing I will ask you, even though if you tell me I'm looking at the impact of motivation and performance, so I will ask you, okay, what is performance and what is motivation? That's where your conceptual framework starts. So we need to limit our research and we need to identify the operational definitions, and then we need to rework. But the theoretical definition is almost developed based on some existing theories and the concepts which are already available. So in one research, yes, we can have both theoretical and conceptual definitions or conceptual frameworks. Okay, so theoretical frameworks will tell you what type of theories you are working and what are the extension to those theories, and conceptual framework will tell you the limitation, the way of analyzing, conceptualizing your research variable in simple ways. Okay, I think how can we, a very important question, how can we collaborate with international researchers? It's really easy nowadays. Just try to find out on the Google Scholar some of the researchers in your area, and if you feel these researchers are in your area, send them your research ideas and ask them to help you or collaborate with you. You can do the same with the ResearchGate profile. You can do the same with Scopus and all other profiles. So please go ahead, create your own profile and try to collaborate with researchers. ResearchGate is really helpful in creating your research network. So use that ResearchGate and try to find out the people, like-minded people, so you can work with them. Okay, I think that's it for today's session. It was really interactive. I have a lot of questions, so I'll try to answer these questions in any upcoming sessions as well. So for now, I believe this is all for today's session, and today's session was basically based on Chat GPT and how we can use different types of the prompts in order to analyze data for our systematic literature review from Chat GPT or any other AI tool. So I gave you two tools. First one is Chat GPT and the second one is Bing. Please use that. Enable your browser to learn from Bing, and Bing is really powerful because it is using Chat GPT 4 and it have much more capabilities than Chat GPT, which is using 3. If you are using paid version of Chat GPT 4, yes, it is good, but for now Bing is best because it gives us Chat GPT 4 for free. There are a few more AI tools which are really valuable. For example, Genie.ai. We have Learn, Elicit and other softwares as well. So I'll be making a few new videos on those with the context of systematic literature review, especially with the Genie AI. And I'll also try to create some prompt for you on Chat GPT and any other AI tool, so we can use all those commands and prompts in order to get maximum out of those techniques and tools.